Welcome to Boardroom Scriptures, where we break down Bible stories and extract real business, leadership, and life strategies, especially for our Nigerian reality. Because the truth is, not everyone who receives opportunity multiplies it. Some people grow wealth, others lose it. And today's question is simple. Why do some people multiply resources while others bury them? And so today, this is episode 4 of Boardroom Scriptures. We're looking at the parable of the talents, right? Better still, why do some people multiply money? Why do others lose it? What's the difference? What actually makes something happen and the other doesn't happen that way? We'll be looking at the book of Matthew chapter 25, from verse 14 to 30, where Jesus told the story of the talents, right? Paraphrasing very quickly, there we see in a relatable narration style here. A master is about to travel. So before leaving, he calls his servants and gives them money. He doesn't give them equally because he has, and we look at about 3 categories of servants here. So he gives them the money according to their ability. To one, he gives 5 talents. The other one, he gives 2 talents. And the last one, he gives 1 talent. Then he leaves. No supervision, no daily check-ins, no micromanagement, just responsibility. Now what happens? The first servant trades with his 5 talents and makes 5 more to make it 10. The second servant trades with his 2 talents and makes 2 more, making 4. The third servant, what does he do? He digs a hole. He buries his money there. No risk, no loss, no growth. Right. The master returns. The first 2 are rewarded. Well done. Enter into more, is what the master promises them. Then the third servant comes forward. I was afraid, so I hid your money. Here it is, your 1 talent that you gave me. I didn't want to take any chances, so this is your money. I buried it and now you're back. Here is your money. And what does the master say? He responds very strongly. You wicked and lazy servant. Not because he lost money, but because he refused to grow it. The talent is taken from him and given to the one who already has more. In a nutshell, that's the story, as we've said in Matthew chapter 25 from verse 14 to 30. Now let's do the business breakdown, where I'm going to be analyzing 7 major points from this particular story. First point, life is not equal, but it is accountable. Life is not equal, but it is accountable. So you see there that each servant received different amounts. One received 5, one received 2, one received 1, according to their ability. And why does this happen? Why is life not equal, but it's still accountable? Why? Why? Basically, that's the question here. It's capacity. In today's world, some people start with capital. Others start with just skill. Others start with nothing. Now, it's possible that everyone starts the business. The same line of business, you have 10 million naira to start. Another line of business, one person has 2 million naira to start. Another business, you have just 100,000 naira to start. It's a question of what is available to you. But it's not enough to just keep it there, because it's very possible that you start your business with 1 million naira and in 6 months, you've even lost all the money. And it's possible for someone else to start the same business with 200,000 naira and in 6 months, that money has become 1 million. Capacity. So in today's world, of course, like we said, some start with capital, some start with just skill, and others start with nothing, depending on where you find yourself. What's the lesson from this particular point breakdown? You are not judged by what you are given, but you're judged by what you do with it. You might not be given so much, but what are you doing with what you've been given? What are you doing with what you have? There's this statement, start with what you have. What you have, what are you doing with it? Are you waiting until you have enough? Because most times you will actually never have enough. It's better to start with what you have and grow it accordingly, like we saw in the story of the servants with 5 talents and 2 talents, respectively. Let's go to the second point here. Ability determines opportunity. Again, ability determines opportunity. We see here that the master gave them according to their ability. He knew the servant that had enough experience to handle 5 talents. He knew the one that had enough experience, but then he felt it's better I give you 2 talents. I think you can handle that. He also knew the talent that could handle lower or lesser, which he gave 1 talent. So it's about the ability normally. The opportunity comes, and of course, your ability determines what you do with that opportunity. Now, capacity, and what's the meaning of this, right? Capacity, what attracts responsibility. Your capacity to do things determines the responsibilities that are put into your hands. What's the lesson from this point? If you want bigger opportunities, you must build bigger capacity. That's what it means. If you want to do more, then build more capacity, learn more, get to know more, improve your substance, improve what you know, improve on where you are. Don't stay where you are. That's why you see a lot of organizations and workplaces, people keep going for trainings. They keep going for training. What are these trainings meant for? To make you better, to develop you, to ensure that you can do better than you were doing yesterday. You need to increase your capacity because it's only then that the right opportunities will come to your way. The third point here is that movement creates multiplication. Movement creates multiplication. What happened to the two servants? The first two servants did something. They traded. Remember, the one with 5 talents traded with it and got 5 more. The one with 2 talents traded with it and got 2 more. They traded with it. They engaged. They didn't just sit down there and think that, okay, the money is going to grow itself. The money won't grow itself. The time value of money will let you see that money cannot remain the same. What you had as 1,000 Naira yesterday, by the time you look at the time value of the money, if that money tomorrow is worth less than it was worth yesterday, especially when it comes to money. But if you do something with it, that money can be worth much more. They engaged and they moved. They didn't stay on the same position. They moved. The third was doing what? He was trying to play safe. He looked at his capital, 1 talent. What can I really do with this? Can this really do much for me? Is it not better for me to just hide and bury than to go and try and lose? He wasn't willing to take risks. The guys that had 5 talents and 2 talents could have decided to take a risk with it. And that could have helped. I mean, they could have decided also that, oh, we don't want to take the risk. They could have actually lost the money in the process. Remember, they could have actually lost the money because what they did was actually a risk. What if the business they did not pay off? But they were willing to take that risk and it paid off. The guy who had 1 talent should have at least made the move to take the risk. Likewise, what happens to many of us in business, in partnerships, in the workplace? Do we take the relevant risks? Are we too guarded that, let me not take this? What if I do this and it doesn't work? What if it works? Instead of you thinking, what if it doesn't work? Switch your mind and think about it in the angle of what if it works? And what's the lesson from this third point? Money does not grow in comfort zones. Money will not grow in comfort zones. It grows through movement, through risk, through engagement. You're going to make some very tough decisions. Down the surface level, it looks very risky to take because there will always be the what ifs. What if it doesn't work? But rather than you focus on what if it doesn't work, you focus on what if it works. And most of the time, what you think in your mind is what you attract. Okay, and we go to the fourth point here. Fear is expensive. Fear is expensive, very, very expensive. And I'll tell you why. What did the third servant say? He said, I was afraid, right? You know, at first glance, it was not that he was lazy. His word, he said, I was afraid. I know you are a hard man. He was telling his master that. I know that, you reap where you did not sow. You are a man who is looking for results all the time. And I looked at this 1 talent I have. If I go and take a chance on it and I lose it, what happens? Let me just keep it. It's better I come back and I give you what you gave me back. That way, no victor, no vanquish. Nobody has lost anything. The money you gave me is what I'm giving you back. I was afraid. I didn't want to take chances. I didn't want to take that risk, right? But fear, what did it lead to eventually? It led to his inaction. He didn't do anything. He went to bury the money so it to be safe. He was trying to play safe. It led to stagnation. The money remained at the level it was. It did not increase. And of course, it led to loss because eventually, he lost even that 1 talent he had. The boss, the master collected the 1 talent and gave it to the one that already had 10 talents, courtesy of him trading wisely on his 5 talents. What is the lesson? In Nigeria today, we hear people, they have that fear of starting. You have some fantastic talents. You can do some things. People tell you, why don't you do something with this? Start so you say, no, I don't have money. I don't have capital. Or I'm waiting for me to have money for a shop. Why don't you start from where you are, from the little way? Because by the time you think about it, how long are you going to try to save before you can raise the needed capital? You will never, most often than not, you never have the needed capital. But when you're moving along with the little you have, with the ideas, we try to start as small as you can and building gradually. Somebody's going to spot you one day, most likely, especially when they see that there's a lot of prospect in what you're doing. People have fear of starting. There's a fear of failure. Oh, somebody else tried to do this. What makes you think you'll be that same person? The fact that someone else tried to do it and it did not work doesn't mean it won't work for you. And finally, fear of what people will say. People think about that. If I do it now, what will they say? Would they not say that they don't know me yet? I'm not popular. I don't have the experience. Just start with what you have, especially when you know you're led to starting. Just go ahead and start. Every other thing will fall in place gradually. What's the lesson from this? Fear does not stop you. You know, we're talking about fear is expensive. The lesson here is that fear doesn't just stop you. It makes you lose what you already have. So it's not just enough that fear will stop you from getting to where you desire, but it's even going to make you lose what you already have. You cannot entertain fear in the workplace or in the place of business. And we continue with the fifth point. Playing safe can be dangerous. Just the same way fear is expensive, likewise too, playing safe can be very dangerous. And why is it very dangerous? You see what happened to this third servant here. He didn't just lose money, he preserved it, yet he was punished. So he was actually playing safe, but yet he was punished for it. In the real sense of it, he was trying to do what he felt was right. At least I did not lose what was given to me. You know, just like people say, it's better not to have at all than to lose it, than to owe. He did not want to be a debtor. He would rather just have what was given to him still safe than go trade with it and lose it in the process. Right. So he was playing safe. He was preserving the money and he was punished. Why was he punished? Because growth was expected. Every employer, every boss, every master, everyone who is in charge of you, who is in a position of authority, expects you to grow, expect some growth. When you're in a position of authority, you expect that where we are today is not where we are going to be tomorrow. There needs to be some improvement, some level of growth. Either your workforce is increasing or you're able to do other things, more things than you were currently doing. And that's what growth is about. But if growth doesn't happen, of course, there will be punishment as a result. That's why you get some people getting fired. Some get fired, some get suspended. Different things are because they are not performing according to the expectations. What is the lesson we have for today in this one? In today's economy, standing still is actually moving backwards. So the fact that you're stagnant and you remain, maybe last year you were at this level, if you're still at this level again this year, you are actually not stagnant, you are moving backwards, because trust me, the time value of money would always play on the stage. So we go to the sixth point here. Results attract more results. Results attract more results. The servant with 10 talents got more. Remember, he had 5 before, he traded with it, he got 10, and still, because he showed result, his master collected the one from the unprofitable servant and gave it to him. Results will attract more results. It might seem unfair because you would wonder, someone already has 10, why are you giving him more? Because it reveals a principle. Resources flow towards productivity. When you're showing some productivity, resources will naturally flow towards you. In real life, investors will fund people who deliver. It's when you're delivering and they see that there is some traction, they will fund you more. You hear of businesses, startups having Series A funding, Series B funding, and all that. What it means is that they invested $1 million in you at this time. You were able to work so well with the $1 million. In another 3-4 years, you're able to turn it to $10 million. Of course, when you need another round of funding and you say this time around, we're being very ambitious and want to raise $20 million, they will fund you because they've seen you perform. And they know that funding you means that they're going to make more money. So definitely, so naturally, resources will always flow towards productivity. Investors will always fund those who deliver, and opportunities always go to those who are already producing. What is the lesson from this point? If you want more, you need to prove that you can handle what you have. If you can prove that you can handle what you have, you'll definitely get more. And now we go to the seventh and the final point of this particular episode. Excuses don't scale. Excuses don't scale. The third servant blamed the master. Imagine, that's what actually happened. He put the blame on his master. He said, "You are a hard man." He shifted the responsibility. He said, "I was afraid because I know you are a hard man, reaping where you do not sow, harvesting where you did not plant. So because of that, I was afraid. It's better let me go and hide this talent, this money you're giving to me, than to go try to use it and eventually I lose it." He was afraid. So he shifted the responsibility. Very wrong. You can't give excuses. You can't. The lesson here is that excuses may comfort you. It might be your own way of telling yourself that, well, I tried my best. This is what I was able to do. Give it the excuses. It might comfort you as a person, you that you're giving the excuses, but it will never grow you. It will comfort you. Excuses will comfort you, but they will never grow you. So now let's bring it home. Let's bring it all home using the Nigerian reality check here. A few questions. How many people are waiting for big capital before starting anything? Think about it. Lots of people. They want that big money first before they even start. Number two, how many talents are buried in ideas, in skills, in connections? You have fantastic ideas, beautiful ideas, and you're waiting until you have so much money before you launch. You're waiting there, waiting there. Time will continue to go. And the way ideas flow these days, once an idea comes out, it's like an inspiration. If you don't run with it, the idea will naturally flow to someone else or someplace else. And I'm sure you might have had instances where you've thought about something and later on you see somebody doing exactly the same thing. An idea you thought was unique to just you. You know, a rapper once said, he said, no idea is original. There is nothing new under the sun. It's not what you do, but how it's done. Basically, no idea is original. That original idea you think you have is only original to you at that point. The minute you don't run with it, it goes to be deposited in the heart of someone else who decides to run with it. It now becomes that person's original idea. And that's how ideas are. A lot of people have ideas they are not running with because they are waiting for the right time, which may never come. A lot of people have skills. They have wonderful skills, but they rather play it safe. You have a skill to set up your own furniture company that you know you can do this, or at least to work in a furniture company. Let's put it down. Maybe you learned it sometime, right? Maybe you have an uncle that was a furniture maker and you have the skills to do that. But because you don't like the look or the outlook of being a furniture maker, right? You rather go and work in a bank as a cashier because you feel you're going to wear shirt and tie and look professional and presentable. You will spend years in that bank doing that teller job where you could have scaled much more by being in that furniture business. So that's you wasting your skills. I'm just giving an instance. And of course, a lot of people have connections. You know a lot of people. But how many people that you know what you do? That's the problem. A lot of us have connections. We know people high and mighty, but they don't know what we do because we just keep those connections. We don't use them. We don't exploit them. Right. How many people are over praying but under acting? The truth is, many people don't lack opportunity. What they lack is execution. And let's look at some deep questions again. Think about this. What has been given to you that you are not using? What do you have in your hands that you're just keeping that you're not using? It's been given to you, but you're not using it. You're waiting for the, in quote, right time. And 2 years, 3 years, 5 years comes, and you're still waiting for the right time. Are you multiplying or maintaining? Is fear currently costing you opportunities? If your results were evaluated today, what will they look like? You answer these questions. In closing, this story, the parable of the talents, right? It's not really about money. It's about responsibility. Because at the end of the day, you will be given something. You will be left with it. And one day, there will be an evaluation. The same way your life, your opportunities, your skills, your education, it's all been given to you. It's a question of what do you do with it? How do you give accounts for these opportunities, these things that have been handed over to you? The question is, will you return with growth or with excuses? This is Boardroom Scriptures, where faith meets strategy and Bible stories become real-life business lessons. The next episode, Abraham and Lot, when growth forces separation in business and life. My name is Michael Elugbengashile. I'll see you on the next one.